we know we're in this space of COVID, and we have to be extremely flexible, and we have to give more than we've ever given before.
Hello, hello, all those beautiful faces. How we doing? How we doing? Stephanie checking in with another episode of Class Disruption. And today we're going to be talking with middle school principal Dallas Lee. But before we get into it, I'm going to ask you to make a small donation to my classroom through the nonprofit I started, Making History with Miss Edmonds. The link is in the description down below, and it's via PayPal, so 100% of everything you donate will go straight to supporting the work my students do. And of course, I'm gonna need for you to smash that like button. If you're new here, welcome. Hit the subscribe button and the bell so you can get notified every time I drop a video. And of course, I'm gonna need for you to share this video because we are spreading this disruption all around the globe. And I wanna know what you're thinking in those comments down below. But like I said, today we are gonna have a conversation with Dallas Lee. He's a principal at Drew Freeman Middle School in Maryland. From everything I see, Mr. Lee is exactly what we're looking for in school leadership. He's confident, yet empathetic, and he's there for his teachers in these trying times. He has a plan, and he's ready to step up and be there for his kids, his teachers, their families, and that's exactly what we need now more than ever. So I am very honored to share with you Mr. Dallas Lee.
How you doing?
No complaints here. It's a good
Awesome.
Friday.
And I love that name.
Oh, thank you.
Nice.
Passed down in the family.
All right. So, I met you on Twitter and I just see one of your tweets and I was like, I got to talk to this guy, but I really don't know much about you other than you're a principal.
Yes.
And so why don't you just start off by telling us a little bit like who you are, what you do, and what you're all about?
No worries. My name is Dallas Lee. I am a proud middle school principal. I love middle school kids. Before serving as a principal, I was an assistant principal and a teacher leader. But before all of that, my number one love is teaching reading, and I was an English teacher. And I've had the great pleasure of teaching English and reading in Chicago and Washington, D.C. So that's something that will always be a part of my heart, is just teaching and opening up kids' eyes to the world through literature. So I even try to find ways to do that now as a principal. But so glad to be here today, just talking about education.
Yeah, for sure. And I love that you're all about reading. That was actually one of my entry points into education as well. Like I was on track, like I was in undergrad and I was like, okay, I want to be a teacher. But I worked as a tutor at this place called Lindenwood Bell Learning Processes. And it's a reading and they do math as well. But like their big program is their reading and comprehension program.
Yeah.
And we did a basic, like no computer, nothing fancy, just some, very standardized kind of like methods and books and just materials. So nothing. Exactly.
I think about how like different novels have really impacted me just as a human being. I went to school to be an elementary school teacher, and then I switched over to music ed. And then I just remember how my teachers had me reading things like Things Fall Apart, and my whole life just changed. I said, I want to do this for kids too. So
yes, and we're gonna bring that reading back. Reading is so important.
Yes.
But there's something of even greater importance going on right now in education. Yes. And, I'm just a teacher and I'm trying to get that view into somebody who's up in leadership and who's really, facing this thing head on, planning for the school year. And I had seen your tweet and it said, in a random convo with a colleague, I shared that leading during the season doesn't feel like a burden. I really feel like it's an opportunity, a blessing, if you will. And the school year won't be perfect. I'm motivated to give it my very best. And now this is just like kind of like an attitude and an approach I feel is so missing from the conversation. So I just wanted, can you give me some more context into this? Can you what were you guys talking about? And, what are those opportunities that you see?
Without a doubt. So let's run something back. You said I'm just a teacher. You are a teacher, which is awesome. I want to make sure you hold on to that. But I was talking to a colleague one morning and we were just preparing for community meetings, which we had last night, actually. We held 3 of them, which is a normal for us. Normally we would have one meeting, we would have an interpreter there. for our Spanish speaking families. But then we said, okay, we know we're in this space of COVID and we have to be extremely flexible and we have to give more than we've ever given before. So that way our kids don't lose out on more, like the opportunity gap doesn't widen even greater, so that the inequities aren't even greater than they were before. So I'm in a space as the school leader to make sure that everybody with whom I work, I'm not just talking about my kiddos, I'm talking about parents, I'm talking about teachers, I'm talking about support staff, that they have what they need to be successful. So if I have to run something back 3-4 times a day, I'm okay with doing that, because hopefully that energy that I give off to that person, that I'll do whatever it takes for you to be successful, is transferred over then to the kids. So that way we make sure that they don't lose out on even more during this time. So I say it's a blessing, because when you're stretched, you learn more about yourself. And we have to work differently as a staff. Our CEO, Dr. Monica Goldson, just told principals this week that she wants us to be innovative about the work. And you know what she told us? She said, take risks. She told the principals, all 250 something of us, to take risks. Are you crazy? I'm excited. So I don't have to do things the way that I was doing them, because that's the way we've always done things.
Right.
Opportunity. I've been given permission to do what I think is best for the young people who are in my building. So I'm excited about this age of innovation. I'm excited about how you're just reading my tweet allows me to talk to you, and who knows who I can learn from as well. So I just, I'm so sad we're in this space of dealing with a pandemic. Like, breaks my heart. But I am appreciative of this opportunity to rethink education.
Right. And I'm right there with you. I see this. I'm not seeing enough people really being bold. I told somebody, I've seen a lot of people that are like, when you like leave grapes in the fridge for too long and they get kind of like squishy and like wrinkly, like that's what the leadership feels like to me. And then I see somebody who's saying like bold things and like making moves. And like you said, you're being given permission to be innovative, and that innovation is allowing you to put the safety and the health first, and not really do what I think a lot of the education world is doing, is being like, oh, we need to have this high quality education, and what about their subjects, and what about, like really thinking in this traditional mode. And I'm like, that wasn't working before. Why are we trying to force it to work now, especially when it has to compete with these other interests over here? So
totally. And so with just saying that, I was talking to my mom, and I was just letting her know that as we enter this first semester, as principal, I just want to concentrate on preparedness and wholeness. So I'm just making sure that as we are transitioning from traditional schooling inside of the building and we're moving everything online, is everyone feeling okay with the challenge that's set before us, that wholeness piece? In addition to that, it's, do you have everything you think you need to be successful, and do you know how to use it? So it's taking that time to go away from traditional metrics as our goal, to concentrate on things that are a little bit more intangible, with the understanding that if I really kind of get this stuff right, even kids creating some type of survey where they feel like they are a part of this learning community online, then when we get there later in the year for our learning metrics, we're in a better place.
And I'm totally with you on the grading. Like, I've been doing it slowly, but I definitely am gonna have some sort of like, grade that fits within the traditional paradigm at the end. But how I get there, I'm really gonna be changing it a lot. And so you're like, I'm right with you. Like, I'm hand in hand, and we are jumping off the cliff together. But like, not everybody's there, right? So like, some people's gap in thinking or preparedness or readiness or ability to go outside their comfort zone isn't there, and that's not a knock to them. I'm sure they're really good at what they do. So what is like one specific thing that you're doing to really help bridge that gap for the educators or the students or the families who aren't quite there with you?
I am listening to my community members. And I know that sounds a bit cliche, but when I say community members, I'll talk to parents, and then I'll talk to the teachers, and then I talk to those who are actually in the community. And I'm thinking, as they share with me their needs, because I live down the street from the school, they share with me their needs. What I have in my like Google folders doesn't fit the needs. So it's okay to scrap all of it or scrap what's not working and redo it to fit where we are. So normally, like if I'm planning for pre-service, I have everything mapped out from top to bottom, and I'm kind of starting pre-service off in my meeting with my instructional leadership team with something that Cuomo said. I don't know, I don't have all the answers. And so in this space of not having the answers, let's come together to create what we can that's going to be best for this space in which we sit. So give yourself the permission to say it's okay to start from scratch. It almost feels like my first year as a principal again. Give yourself that permission, and give yourself the permission to be innovative.
Yeah, I really like that collaborative aspect of it, coming together, just letting people's voices be heard,
Yeah.
right? And then also oftentimes, sometimes I do find myself like on really far of like the innovative end, and sometimes it's nice to have that force like kind of pulling you back and saying, you know what, like we should probably take some shifts to ultimately get to this place where we're going. So it's so good to have those people together.
So glad you said that, because I was mapping out my goals, because we'll still have goals. But I said I'm going to do something different this year. I'm not going to map out a goal for a whole year. It doesn't make sense. I'm going to map out goals for just the first quarter, and then the second quarter, just to kind of round out the semester to see how we're progressing throughout the year.
Yeah, exactly. So, what's like a final message that you want to leave people with? And also let us know, like, where can we connect with you, like your preferred social media platforms?
Sure. I'm going to share with you what I've been holding on to for weeks now, and it's okay not to know, but it's not okay to seek different perspectives and different answers, and to do, this is for a lot of my leadership friends, do the research. If you don't know, just start researching different options, talking to people, and then eventually sit still for a little while and things will come to you. And I would love to connect with folks through Twitter. Name on there is Mr. Lee 6, Mr. Lee 6 on Twitter.
Awesome. All right. So thank you so much for coming, giving us some of your time. I know you got a lot going on, and I hope that this can provide value to other principals in leadership, other teachers who are looking for a steady force of leadership in this time. And I hope people definitely, reach out and show you some love.
Well, thank you so very much. You all have a great planning time, and I wish everyone the best school year possible.
I told you, he is just a ball of joy, and yet like such a steady force of strength. Like I would be so confident if I were a teacher or a student or a family that was at his school. So more power to you out there in Maryland. I hope that people take notice, other leaders take notice of what you're doing and follow your lead, because this is what the type of energy we need to meet this moment. So make sure you go follow Dallas Lee on Twitter. Go show him the most love, and let us know in those comments down below. What's the leadership like at your school? What qualities does Mr. Lee have that you wish your leaders have? What are some things that your leaders are doing that make you feel confident or maybe not so confident? Let me know in those comments down below. Also, if you haven't already, I'm not quite sure what's going on, but I'm gonna need for you to smash that like button, like double smash for Mr. Lee, because he's just an awesome dude. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and that bell so you can get notified every time I drop one of these amazing conversations and all the other content we got coming your way. And I'm gonna just throw it in there one more time. If you could be so kind as to donate $1 or $2 towards the work that we're doing in my classroom with my students. I started a nonprofit, Making History with Miss Edmonds. That link is in the description down below, and you can follow along with the adventures in my classroom at Making History with Miss Edmonds. And don't forget to follow me on Class Disruption. Both of those are on Instagram, and we will see you over there. And until next time, you know what I need you to do. Stay foolish, y'all.